Happy Friday! Calling in here from Seattle, Washington, where it's going to be 80 degrees this weekend. Some people like it hot, although 80 is like nothing compared to my other friends in other parts of the country, as well as other parts in the world. You made it to another Friday. If you didn't get COVID, congratulations. If you did, stay home and get ready for a weekend. For us, we're moving 46 bags of mulch as well as trying to release my conference that's coming up. Super excited for that. Hey, if you want to come join us, inside of this post is a link. You can do that, fill out a thingamajig, and you can get a link and come join us here in happy hour. Today, in today's happy hour, I'm excited because I feel like I can declare myself an ally for women. I'll watch out, try and help, do my part. And I met an amazing individual who's going to share some stuff with us. Plus, we got some women in our audience, amazing that. And most of them, I think, are speakers in some way or another. So let's welcome to the stage the one and only Bobbie Carlton. Bobbie, what's going on?
Hey, thanks for having me. And I am so glad to make it to Friday. We had record-breaking heat here in the Boston area
Ah,
last 2 days. So, whew.
right? Like how hot is hot?
96 yesterday, and I haven't seen the official, but our outdoor thermometer here said 94 today.
94.
Ooh.
Okay, let's see. I have some royalty-free music, which I hope that Facebook won't mess up. It's ukulele. This is not ukulele type beat. Oh, jeez. All right. Well, anyways. Oh, well, good. Well, you're staying cool, right, Bobby?
Yes, absolutely. I have my little fan.
Is that an air like a cooling fan or just a fan
It
fan?
is literally just a fan because our 110-year-old house's air conditioning is somewhat limited. So,
Have you ever thought about making a swamp cooler?
yes, I have. And I actually looked up directions at one point.
You can take those two fans and make a swamp cooler. All right.
Yes, we do
Well,
have an air conditioner in the kitchen. So it's the little fan there is helping me not be in the kitchen.
okay. So speaking of cool, you created something super cool. You do PR for the most part, and then discovered that there was a niche that was just missing. So why don't you tell people a little bit about who you are and this thing that you made?
Absolutely. So I usually tell people I have a day job running a PR and marketing firm, a night job running something called Innovation Nights, which is a monthly new product launch event in the Boston market. We launched over 1,500 new products before the pandemic got us. And then Innovation Women is my dream job. It's the dream of more women on stage at conferences and events. But I don't stop there. I bought two more companies during the pandemic. Consider it a little retail therapy. So you may have bought new curtains. I bought two new companies. So one of them is a research service for speakers called My Speaker Leads, and then I also bought Lioness Magazine for the female entrepreneur. So we have a little cohort, a cadre of companies that are all about visibility.
Super cool. I know that SNL made a joke about people looking at Zillow like porn over the pandemic because there's nothing else to do. You bought companies, and we were just talking about. We were trying to make a joke about four women and a guy walk into a bar, and that the end joke now, right, with innovation women is that you bought the bar.
Yep.
um, so with that, why don't you talk to me? You got stats. You got lots of really cool stats on the. Well, I mean, some of them are not cool, but
Uh,
you have real stats on women speaking in the industry. And again, I'm in the events industry as well as this production side, and I know a lot of meeting planners who are picking these speakers. So I'd love to be able to share some of those stats.
Absolutely. So 2/3 of all conference speakers are men. And that number comes to us courtesy of a company called Bizibo. They do event software, and they did some pretty amazing research work a few years ago. They looked back, I think, 5 or 6 years and looked at the numbers of speakers at industry conferences and events and came up with that 2/3 number, which That was 2019, and
Yeah.
keep praying that Bisabo will do some updating of that number, because I have kind of two points of view on what happened over the pandemic. Number one, a little bit easier for women to speak because we were doing it all remotely. We didn't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, I love that
And on
viewpoint.
the
The virtual.
other
Yeah.
side, we also had event managers kind of reverting a little bit and going back to the people they knew because they weren't meeting new people. So I felt like,
Oh.
yes, it might have been a little bit easier, but we also maybe didn't have as many opportunities.
I mean, there's a DEI side too, which is like they are seeking out a number of speakers, and people are starting to really, even the attendees now, which I think are the ones who I think might have the most influence and power, are coming in there looking at the education, because that's actually the number one thing most people do before they decide to buy it for a conference. And if they see like all manels, which I learned this year, which is like all man panels, right, or wannels, or all these other things that they may not buy, right? That would actually deter them, and they've been talking to meeting organizers too, and coming and challenging them, saying, "Where's your diversity? Where's the DEI in this program, and where's your representation?" So
Absolutely. I mean, I have looked at conferences where all of the photos on the website are of what I call male pale and stale panels, and said, "Oh, we have an issue here."
you got to laugh out of Renee out of that one. I'm gonna bring up, like, you know what? Let's go do that. Let's have a chat, right? I'm gonna bring up. This is Renee, of course, who's hanging around with GameCon and her own thing. This is Nicole. Nicole is in. Oh, geez. Give me the right state, Nicole. You are in not Mississippi. That's the wrong state. Come on. Oh, you're gonna make me do it?
State of flow.
Alabama,
There you go. Because
Alabama,
I
No,
need
not
Anna
Alabama
bam,
either.
to help
No,
me.
Arkansas.
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 Oh,
Okay.
Arkansas.
good. I didn't know you
My
get
fault
okay.
too.
All right. So you got to, like, yeah. Speaking of panel, we got a group of people. We're just really kind of hanging out, right? This is kind of Friday happy hour, but we're just broadcasting because Bobbie has some cool stuff. I love Renee, Nicole, or Donna. Do you have any either comments or questions? Especially, I know like Donna's in Toastmasters. I definitely know that Renee speaks and helps speakers all the time. I'd just be curious if any of you have, yeah, comments or questions about women speaking in the industry.
I just put a comment that, sorry, Renee, were you going to say something?
No, you're first.
I was just going to say that it just seems like most people see women as speakers in the education, like, because I'm a former teacher, they see women as speakers as teachers, because majority, at least down south, majority of teachers are women. So they see women as speakers, and then all of a sudden, bam, they don't. I mean, that stat was just kind of weird. 2/3 versus a third.
Yeah, and I think part of it is because you get women uh often turning down speaking engagements. And reason for that is multifold. Number one, women are more likely to work part-time. Women are more likely to work for smaller companies, and women are still more likely to be responsible for kids and home. And those things are a little grand conspiracy to keep women from attending conferences as well as speaking at them. Uh, at first, when I heard event managers tell me that half of all women turn down speaking opportunities offered to them, whereas 90% of men say yes, I was like, oh, that's a myth. But I heard it so many times from so many event managers. And I even had a few event managers who gave me real numbers. Like they said, okay, I sent out this number of invitations. These are the responses. So there were people tracking these numbers. So women
But
do turn down the opportunities, but also it comes down to the
Well,
people that we see on stage are often C-level executives.
right.
If you look at the Fortune 500, the number of C-level executives and CEOs who are women is so limited. You have
Right.
a limited number of people to choose from.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a compounding problem. But I did love, Bobbie,
Mm-hmm.
that you said that the pandemic might have helped this number because it allowed people to do a keynote. You only got to take 30, 60 minutes ish out of your day. You can just like, hopefully help have people watch your stuff. And you didn't have to do the whole, you burn 3 days trying to speak for an hour in a meeting.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And now it's like an hour and a half for an hour meeting. And I hope that really does change the number because it makes it more accessible. Renee, you got a comment or question?
Yeah, I was going to comment too on the interesting stats and curiosity about what's happened over the pandemic. I'm hoping that that's been an equalizer.
I am hoping to. As I said, I'm kind of praying that Bizzabo does an update to their numbers. They looked at something like 60,000 speakers when they did the original study. They had good data, but my sense of it is things didn't get better, and that was literally anecdotal. Just because we did see a lot of speaking coordinators, people that are asking speakers, really go back to uh, issuing invitations to the people they knew. And what happens a lot of times when speakers do a lot of speaking is they become what we call circuit speakers. They get on the circuit.
Yeah.
They become known, and they start going from conference to conference, because speaking begets speaking. The more speaking you do, the more speaking you will do. And often we were finding women stepping back from careers and activities during the pandemic. If you remember early on, a whole bunch of kids suddenly at home. And because women earn less, they are the ones that were stepping back in their careers, stepping back from their businesses. So we saw a lot of women just run away from, the things that they had been accomplishing because they had to take care of the kids.
Donna, comments?
I was welcoming Warren back. And just say we have a speaker today, so it's a little different format. But, yeah,
Warren's middle name, Bobbie? Swagatastical.
swagatastical. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So Bobbie, one of the things is about getting these gigs, right? I mean, for every speaker, you got to try and get in the speaker business is about getting, getting chosen to be a speaker. There's endless applications. You got to know people. There's just usual marketing to become a successful speaker. And what do you see? I mean, I think you also see it from the PR side too, of like
Yeah.
trying to get speaker market for speakers.
Absolutely. And I've spent 37 years doing public relations, and a lot of that was thought leadership campaigns and getting senior executives on stage. And, the kind of normal path to a lot of these professional conferences and industry events is through the call for speakers. And a call for speakers is what the trade shows and conferences and events put out and say, okay, we need, these number of speakers for our event, and people will apply through those. So that's how a lot of these events will get the majority of their featured speakers, their breakout speakers, their panelists. They'll come in through these calls for speakers.
Yeah. So, do you want to go through some of the pieces that you did as part of this tool? Like, I think, the key to me is that you listen to a lot of women speakers to understand what's the challenges they're having, and then you tried to solve some of them, right?
Yeah, and I got invited to a lot of events because I was running an event myself, and I was uh, putting out a weekly newsletter that had a lot of information about local events in the Boston market. So everybody was like, Bobbie, come to my event. And I would sit in the audience with other relatively senior women, and we would be looking up on the stage and going, what's wrong with this picture? There would be people on stage that knew less than the two people sitting right next to me. So, we would talk about how the people on stage got those opportunities. And a lot of times the woman would be like, nobody ever invites me. I'm like, whoa, it's time out. This is not an invitation type situation. This is you taking the time to fill out the form on the website to apply. You got to put yourself out there.
It's a process.
So we had a lot of conversations about, the mechanics of getting speaking opportunities. And that was one of the reasons that Innovation Women contains a vast number of resources. And I'm very good at explaining things. So I will, here are the steps. And, one of the things you find in this online world is a lot of people will tell you information up to a certain point, and then it's like, pay me money. And I'm like, yeah, I'm putting it all out there. We're telling everybody everything. And a lot of times people come back to me and go, you have a lot of information on this site. I'm like, yes, I do. And I share every bit of it. No secret keeping here.
And why? What's your attitude or what's your belief? Like, what's behind that for you? I'm guessing, but I think I just
We
want
have a mission. So Innovation Women is a mission-based organization. I took the 60,000 speakers that Bizzabo took a look at and said, okay, if 2/3 of those are men, I figured out that I need to get 2,500 additional women on stage every month in order to achieve gender equity on stage. And by the way, it's not just about getting women on stage, because when you're on stage, you are getting access to connections, you're
Yep.
getting access to cold hard cash,
Yep.
whether that's, you're getting paid, or it's a situation where maybe you're getting funding for your company or business success or a raise at work. By the way, direct correlation between comfort with public speaking and what you make. Like literally, there have been numerous studies that said people who are uncomfortable with public speaking make less over their lifetime than people who are comfortable with
Oh.
it.
I'm interested in that part. I don't think I've seen that study because I've seen the other one though. I mean, like public speaking is definitely an executive skill that's not really taught well in a lot of places.
I find actually that a lot of companies teach public speaking and presentations,
Sure.
and then they stop. And I'm like, you're not doing the most important thing for this person in terms of teaching them public speaking skills. And that is actually getting them on stage.
Yeah.
Practice, practice, practice. That's the big thing about public speaking.
Yeah, and not just to get on stage and be okay. To like get on stage and like, if you're
Rock
gonna
it.
get on stage, be great. Right?
Absolutely.
Be
Go to
exceptional.
school on other speakers. I mean, we have all these fantastic resources. If you want to get really good at public speaking, sit down and watch a day of TED Talks. Like,
Yep.
it's like there is a master class. These are people who have spent often 3 to 6 months learning one speech and just nailing it with the help of coaches, people that are there to give them feedback and critiques. And, when was the last time you spent 3 to 6 months learning a speech that took you under 13 minutes? Yeah,
Maybe
no.
never for some people, like, except for like I don't know. I feel like high school, like somebody had to like memorize the Declaration of Independence or something, or a poem, or
Yeah, which is actually, I'm sure,
Mhm.
shorter than a lot of these TED Talks.
that's probably true. What's you publish? You said you publish a lot of resources. I'm sure, and you're a stats kind of person. What's like some of the top ranking articles that people have been looking at?
On my site?
Yeah, on your side.
Oh, you know what? It's all about getting paid to speak. Like literally, that is on the speaking side, our most popular piece of content. We have 2 articles. One of them is basically how to get paid to speak. And the other one is how much should I charge? Because speaking is this highly negotiated thing. Nobody's out there really publishing prices unless it's, Michelle Obama got $200,000 for speaking at this event. When you're down in the getting started ranges, like some people are like, I don't know how much to charge. It's like I'm speaking at the local Rotary Club and they ask me my rate. I have no idea. And I said, well, the first thing you do is ask what they paid the last person.
That's a
And
good.
then you go and ask that person how much you get paid, especially if it's a white guy. So what you do is you find out what the last white guy got paid. And that's what you ask for.
WGP, white guy pay, right?
Yep. And what is it? The give me the confidence of a mediocre white man.
Whoa.
Sorry. I have nothing
Where'd that
against
come
white
from?
guys. Just so we all know, I'm married to one. And, not that he was an old white guy when I married him. He was a young white guy. But still, I don't have anything against old white guys. I just want to hear other perspectives and other voices. And this is what you ask the white guy that preceded you. You say to him, listen, I know that you are an ally to women. And you would never want that organization to pay me less just because I'm a woman. So I need you to tell me what they paid you.
Wow, that's work. I can tell you practice that. That works.
That was actually advice from one of our speakers. We have a Friday morning Zoom call called Speaker Friends. And Speaker Friends get together every Friday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern.
Oh, geez.
And we talk about all the stuff that speakers don't usually share.
Is that on innovationwomen.com
When you sign
What?
up for our newsletter, you'll get the invitation.
Oh, I haven't got the. I don't know why. Okay, I'd have to wake up
Yeah, you
early
should
here on
be
the West
getting
Coast.
it. Friday mornings at 8:30, you'll be getting you get the newsletters.
Well,
We
let's-
also have once a month, we have West Coast friendly times.
Yeah. Let's just check. So Warren, do you want
And
to?
Warren's like, what did I walk into?
I know, Warren, do you want to hang out for a minute? Just shake your head yes if you want to come up.
Hey, Warren,
Yeah, he's cool.
we have men on Innovation Women.
So the great part about Warren is he came here and he came to Happy Hour last week and he just said this was his favorite place to be. Warren, go ahead and feel free to unmute. Let's see what's going on. Uh-oh, no mic.
No mic.
You're unmuted, but we can't hear you. All right, we'll see if we can fix it. I think it's his phone or his computer. Anybody else?
Did you try to call in?
Says
Oh,
he's
trying
connecting to
again.
audio.
Or is he- Connect to audio. That's important.
Connecting. Yeah, it's helpful.
That is definitely helpful.
Oh,
We
he's
lost
gone.
him.
He'll be back. He'll be back.
Oh,
If you want to be a speaker, you need a mic.
That's been like my number one tip for people.
get a good mic.
Get them
Like,
good mic. No,
get-
that's
Get a mic.
A mic.
A mic, and then we'll go up from there.
I just did that too, because it is tough, Bobbie, right? It's like some women, like let's say, are in the higher register, right, than most men, and then sometimes if you don't get the right mic, you get these microphones that pick up the middle to high range, and it will make the speaker, sound tinny, right? And I think that doesn't do a service to speakers like that. Renee, what have you seen? I mean, you've seen a lot of speakers this year, right?
Yeah.
I'd love to what do you see on the male female side or like something unique to women speakers?
Oh, that's a really good question. What do I see that's unique to female? Oh,
Take me anywhere.
So Renee specializes in gamification speakers too. So this is like a unique niche.
yeah. I'm trying to think, how our numbers balance out. I'd have to look at the list to see how our numbers have balanced out.
I've got an awesome tool for you to do that.
Ooh,
All
what's
right.
What is it,
Yes, you
Bobbie?
have to check out Gender Avenger. Gender
Gender
Avenger is
Avenger.
an awesome organization, and they actually have an app called GA Tally for Gender Avenger Tally. And what you do is you look at the number of male and female speakers and you insert them into the app, and it generates a fabulous social media ready image that you can pop up on social media with a lovely little graphic, either yay organization, you did a good job, or boo organization, not so much. They also have an app within the app that allows you to track the amount of male female talk from the stage. So there's one button that says dude, and the other button says not a dude. And you sit there during the event. Every time there's a dude talking, you push that button. Every time there's not a dude talking, you push that button. And at the end, you get a tally for the amount of voice on stage. I
Oh,
love
that's
them.
awesome.
I love them. They're
Awesome.
awesome. Gender Avenger.
Oh,
And-
I'm gonna have to check that out now. I'll get
Love
back
that.
to you on it.
I got the wrong.
There's- I was going to say, there's also a fantastic Tumblr called Congrats, You Have an All Male Panel. And it is pictures of all male panels, obviously, with some lovely little snide commentary. And each picture of an all male panel is stamped with a picture of the Hoff, David Hasselhoff, giving you the big thumbs up, Mr. Event Manager. Congrats on your all male panel for breastfeeding women, all male doctors, or whatever other topic.
Where is that? What's that
It's on
called?
Tumblr. Just Google congrats. You have an all male panel and it'll come right up. All right, Warren,
I
can we
see it,
hear
I
you
see
this
it here.
time?
Yeah, all right. You ready?
Yeah, there we go.
And so this is this is funny. This is sad, true, and funny. All
Oh, that's awesome.
wow.
Way to go.
Wow. Yeah, other countries too, right?
Way to
Oh,
go,
yes, it's
organization.
global.
Wow. Wow.
And
Okay.
every single picture is stamped.
Wow, we
Fabulous.
have somebody else joining us too. Let's see. I think I know this person. I hope I know this person. So, Bobbie, yeah, when we let people in we're not entirely sure of, I just gotta, warn you that we have
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, like Warren. There we go. Warren, we got audio from Warren.
Warren!
And then we lost
And then-
him.
Oh no,
Where's
he's
he,
there.
where's
He's
he at?
back.
Where's he at?
Wait, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Now we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yes.
Finally, man. Finally. Listen. Wait, what did she say? Gender Avenger?
Yeah.
Gender Avenger.
That sounds like the name. That sounds like it should be the name of the next Marvel movie.
Oh,
I'm
It
gonna
kinda
all
have to go
does.
with that.
superheroes.
Yes.
I think that's a good idea. And Linda is here with us. Let's see, Linda. Linda is driving today, though. Zoom. Let's see.
Linda is
Hopefully she's not driving.
no, Linda is driving.
Oh my goodness.
It's 8:44 Pennsylvania time, so it's getting to be a little dark outside.
Linda, you want to give some comments about women speaking at conferences?
I would love to give some comments about women speaking at conferences. I think we should absolutely do much more of it. I think there should be a much greater balance between the women speakers and the men speakers. And that means that the ladies have to step it up and be prepared and ready to speak when the opportunity arises. Seek out those opportunities. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Linda. Thank you for calling in, right? PSA, right? Put your hands on the wheel.
I have one hand on the wheel and one hand on the phone, so we're good.
Ah,
And I just left real happy hour
Ooh.
because it was a long week. So I am driving the short 3 miles home, and then
Does that mean I should?
what now?
Say again, Warren.
I said hopefully her check engine light doesn't come on
Check it.
before she gets home.
Okay. I just have to share. I got to the one that was pro-life and pro-choice, all male panel.
Oh,
oh no. No.
where is
Yes. Yes.
that?
on the congrats, you have an all male panel.
On the congrats, it was
The
Oh,
breastfeeding
wait,
one
wait,
is
wait.
my
I got
favorite.
it. Wait, watch this. Ready? Abortion is wrong. Join us for a public debate on the pro-life side and on the pro-choice side. That is wrong. All right?
yes.
That is just flat wrong.
Yes, it is.
You got to hold on to this one, Bobbie.
Oh,
I think you
man.
might have to use this for some slide in your.
I still say the breastfeeding one is my favorite.
Yeah.
The 4 male doctors talking about breastfeeding.
Yeah, that
Oh, I
that is
thought you were
good.
just being facetious.
Oh
no,
no,
no.
Those
Oh,
are
she was
real.
real. There used to be
No.
this like women's conference led by 2 men that would teach you how to be, successful women as mothers and wives or something.
What?
I'm like,
Really?
yeah, really.
So and I'm on with what Linda says, and all right, I'm working on the and Donna has a great question too. I'd love to see. She has the question: do you have numbers on ethnic speakers? And what I wanted to say around that is that it's not just the women who need to step up, right? So that's one part of the puzzle. But the other side is that, like here on the ally side, if you were a meeting professional and you have some control of what's going on, right, you should be looking at this too. So that's why you don't get right all male panels. That you start off with this mindset going, I actually know my audiences. Again, you're going to hear it from the audiences. You disappoint your audiences, I think, when you put these things together now. Before it was like just more like a social responsibility, but now, there's even more premise to doing this. So I think there's
You're
things that
taking a
people can do,
risk too.
right? What's that? Say again?
If you are an event organizer putting
Yes.
up all male panels, all, as I say, male, pale, and stale, same 4 old white guys over and over again, you are taking a huge risk. Like I have seen the headlines. One of my favorites was about JP Morgan in 2018, where the reporters actually went through the program and said there are more men named Michael on this stage than there are women.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Yep. Well, I think there's more CEOs in the Fortune 500 named David than there are women CEOs.
Oh, well, the women CEO stats are unfortunately not good. Although I did just register for a conference where, what was it? Who's the women CEO from Pepsi? I can see your name, but I can't pronounce it correctly.
Wait, is this another version of "Are there more wheels than doors?" debate?
Oh, that did not work. I tried to put up the
Because it sounds
all-male
like
panel
it.
for breastfeeding, and I think I mushed it all together with a bunch of.
Yeah,
So,
I did
just
find
ignore
it.
that one.
I'm just going to keep scrolling here. Women empowerment in Pakistan.
A male panel for breastfeeding.
Yeah.
What the heavens is going on tonight?
It'd be like yes.
I'm tardy to the party, so I have no clue what's going on right now.
We're trying to clue you in, Warren, right? We're just Bobbie. And by the way, we are live streaming right now, which is but Bobbie runs a company called Innovation Women, and we're just talking. The subject is women speakers at conferences and events. Here, let me just ask this, Warren. Warren, like what's one of the best women speakers you've ever seen speak? Like mine by far, so far in the last 2 years, Elizabeth Gilbert just blew me away, and I've become a big fan of what she does. Because I met her virtually, and she gave one of the best virtual keynotes I've ever seen, and especially with no additional technology. Let's see if Warren's got one.
You said who's my best female speaker?
Yeah.
Right here,
Wow.
babe.
Warren, find it out. Bobbie.
Let's see. I would say
Oh, we froze him. He got frozen. I'm going to say Brene Brown is one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
He's up the top.
I'm a big fan of Amy Webb. She is a futurist, and she is brilliant.
Okay.
I love it. Nicole says Ruby Payne.
Oh.
Ruby Payne, yes.
Yeah, she's passed away, but she was amazing.
I would.
Oh, Warren.
We got to push Warren's internet, right? Come on, you can do it.
Warren,
Push it up
type it in the chat.
I think one of the interesting things is when you Google the best public speakers.
Yeah.
And you look at the images that Google serves up.
All right.
It's a big old group of men.
Best.
And
just I can do images. Oh yeah. Well, okay, check this out. Let's see what I got this time. Ready? Let's go through the list. All right. Obama. All right. That's fine.
Yeah.
This is cool. Look at this though. Amanda.
actually, if you do it without looking at images and see what Google serves up. So just do all.
Yeah. So this is a NASA. These are ads. Penny, futurist. Oh, look at this. You're talking about this list. Now look at this. Right?
Yep.
Dude. Brené Brown. Okay, we said her name. Ayenir
Amy.
Vanzon. That's a good one.
Amy Purdy. I don't.
She's
Robin-
Power Pose, Amy Purdy. If you've ever heard of her work with how our bodies being in an upright position with hands on hips, or
Oh, yeah.
like this.
Yep.
She did her TEDx talk on the Power Pose.
Okay, I think I might have seen that now.
Louise Hay. Oh, there's a good name,
There's an awesome name.
right? And
Yeah.
Ariana Huffington. She's on the list. But yeah, look overall. Susie Orman. Okay, Susie Orman was on the list, right?
Yeah. When I went through that list a couple of weeks ago, the first, I think it was 12 names were all men.
Yeah, they are.
And the group below were hidden.
12.
You could press the see more to see a grand total of, I think,
that's-
51 speakers.
That's the show
And
lab.
of those, only 10 were women.
Yeah, have you used that in a talk?
Yes.
I would use that in a talk. That's like a no-brainer.
Yep.
Right. And
What
that's
is the list?
It's
So
just-
this is
we
this is
start-
if you Google the world's best speakers.
I said best public speakers, but I think we
Okay,
got the same.
that, yep. Yeah,
And
it's
then-
the same list. And you notice that they use the word orators.
Yeah.
Now, one
Mhm.
of the things about orators is it's a very male-oriented word. If you say
Interesting.
orators, and that wasn't in the search,
No.
you did not use that term.
Mm-mm.
And if you understand how search engine optimization works, it's because those pictures and those people are associated most often with the words that go along with it. So inbound links, website traffic, the number of times they appear somewhere, all of this stuff adds up. There's hundreds of attributes that Google uses to present these things to us. And every time we're presented with images like that, when we're presented with men on stage, the male pale stale panels, like what it's doing to our brains.
Yeah.
Like, this is what people start thinking about. If you say orator and my eyes are closed, if I tell you that you are going to a conference, all right, it's the conference, the most important conference in your industry. If you close your eyes, you pick up your badge, you go and get your coffee, and you're going to the panel of, let's say, the top 4 experts in your field, the most prestigious people you could possibly see. Most often, we visualize a panel of old white men. We have been brainwashed. Hello, welcome to my TED Talk. Welcome to my soapbox. I'll stop now.
All right. Well, Bobbie, we're almost out. So why don't we do this? I would love for ask the rest of our guests here who do have access to audio. What's a question? What's a question you would love to hear where our individual viewpoints are at? You can take a moment. I'll stall for it. I'll play more non-ukulele music.
Not ukulele music.
Restate the question.
I think
wanna
he's
see
looking to hear
Bobbie,
what
I want
questions
Bobbie to
you
ask
have.
all of us a question.
Oh,
Okay.
you want me to ask a question?
Yeah, you ask the question. We'll answer it, but I want to know, what do you want to know from this group?
I'm curious what you have all done for your public speaking careers. I know about John. Have you done any public speaking lately?
Renee, make sure and unmute, unless you're trying to talk to somebody else.
That. Oh yeah, that.
Oh, that thing. I
Well,
can
see,
do it
I
for
was going to say, it's been a long time since I've done any public speaking, but it's interesting because John said, yeah, Renee's doing, I didn't really count it because it's on over the internet.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I mean, let's
interesting.
face it, for 2 years, we've mostly been doing it this way.
Yeah. Interesting though that I was ready to say, oh no, it's been years.
Yeah, one of the things that we've done is we have a listing of speaking opportunities on the website. I think like right now there's like 400, 500 different opportunities on the site. And our speakers can go and search by location, by industry, by keyword, by topic. But one of the things we allow them to do is filter by online or in person or hybrid events. And so Innovation Women is a little bit of a leading indicator in the amount of online events. And so obviously during the pandemic, it was all online. It was all virtual, all online. But over the last, I'd say 6 months, we've been seeing a steady uptick.
Yep.
And 3 to 6 months from now, I predict we're going to see less than 20% of the speaking opportunities on our platform being online. And I think it is so important to still have hybrid events, still have speakers who are speaking virtually,
Yep.
to have online events, because it is bringing out voices into the marketplace that might not otherwise be heard.
I don't think they were heard before.
Yeah,
That's true. And audiences too. Because
absolutely.
I've been appreciating that I can participate with groups that were inaccessible to me before because I don't work for a company with big money to send me places. So.
Yeah. And more women are more likely to work for smaller companies.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have anybody to backfill if you're out of the office for 3 days, going to an event, attending an event, and then coming back. Easily 3 days if it's
Right.
outside your city. You know, and if you only work 3 days a week, well, geez, you know, I can't afford to be out of work for an entire week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, being able to attend an event from right here, baby, that's awesome. And I can get a little bit of work done and I can listen to the presentations. And oh, by the way, all of this super important thought leadership stuff that comes about from conferences and events, like we're seriously preventing people from accessing that information. Like, what is that doing to people's careers, to their lives, to their psyches, if they are just being separated from that knowledge? It's upsetting.
Yeah. Bobbie's on a mission. Donna or Nicole?
I was gonna say I put in the chat, I got the opportunity to speak and get paid for it based on some research that I was doing, and the drug got approved, and I got to speak to a lot of nurses and caregivers about it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
I have data about speaking and getting paid. So when I started Innovation Women, I did a survey of 360 event managers. Half of them have no budget whatsoever for speakers. They don't pay anybody. It's not in their business model, not necessary.
Mhm.
42% pay some people. And these are what I call the cagey event managers, because they don't want anybody to know they're paying anybody, because then everybody's going to be
Wow.
going, you paid her. Why aren't you not paying me? Or actually, more likely, they're paying him. Why are they not paying me?
Yep.
And so that leaves 8% of event managers who pay all or most their speakers. So
Wow.
that's a pretty small number. Now,
Yeah,
those
that
event
is.
managers may be doing multiple
Mhm.
events,
Yeah.
but the 42% is actually the really interesting number, because if you know what it is they're paying for,
Yep.
you can say, hi, I am a keynote speaker. I'm more likely to get paid. Or I am a workshop leader. I'm
Yes.
more likely to get paid.
Hmm.
Because often the workshops are on the shoulders of the conferences.
And paid.
So it may be a pre-event or a post-event, and
Yep.
people pay extra to participate in those.
And the meeting planner is very excited about that because it's more
Right.
order.
And so those are the types of things that might be getting you paid. Also, a lot of event organizers have discretionary funds for people they really want to get speaking at the event who aren't going to show up any other way. You
Yeah.
know, they may have money for travel. They may, as an event organizer, have to have a block of rooms that they put aside through the hotel. and they've got to fill those rooms. They're probably going to stay in some rooms themselves or use one for their conference organizing activities, but they might be able to put you in one of those rooms. It's just going to go empty anyway. So
Great
there's all
negotiation.
kinds of things that you
Yeah.
can do to get yourself compensated for your speaking if you
Mhm.
know what to ask for.
That's definitely a negotiation piece, and we've done that a lot too, saying, we're happy to stay in your room block, right? Otherwise, we'll charge you for the room, or whatever it is. And quite often they'll go, oh yeah, we'll just take care of it, right? And that's a win. But you got to ask, right? Say
You
it's
gotta
like back
ask.
to that other part. You got to
The
ask.
speakers who don't get paid are the ones who don't ask.
Yep. Yeah, I've been on the other side of that table too, Bobbie. And sometimes it's we have a budget, so we got to figure out how to allocate that budget. Right. And so sometimes like a keynote, they'll pay for the keynote. And then, there are some industry speakers we know that will go for free, but they're okay with it. They're doing it for other reasons or whatever, so there are some of those things where there's like with that. And we're really trying to work hard. I love that MPI Meetings Professional International here in Washington State came back and paid. They actually raised the budget for speakers instead of taking more profit.
Wow.
It's
for
like
them.
I've rarely seen that in a nonprofit association because it's their biggest quote unquote moneymaker, and they're like, we're a nonprofit, right? We can better serve our members by increasing the budget for education than just taking the money and doing something else with it.
That's fantastic.
So that's a side note there. You
Kudos.
can ask around with that. Nicole, do you have any other commentary you'd like to add, or can you answer Bobbie's question? You may not be speaking now, but maybe you are. You should.
I mean, I used to be a teacher, so and I used to like be a 4-H leader. So I don't know if that all counts or not. So I don't know. I mean,
It does count.
I've co-hosted a few like Zoom things, and I'm a Zoom like a mentor to a photography, like to one person. I don't know that I would count that as a speaking thing, but I don't know.
So I usually tell people that a lot of things count as speaking.
Yes.
So, we don't think about them as speaking engagements, but they really are. If you are getting started with public speaking, one of the things that I usually recommend to people is that at the end of someone else's speech, when the speaker on stage is all done and they're like, are there any questions? You pop right up and raise your hand and ask a question. Because congratulations, you are now a public speaker. You just spoke to the exact same audience that the speakers on stage were speaking to.
Well,
You
Lord
got to
knows
tell the audience your name. What's that?
said, Lord knows I talk enough on these things. So
There you go. So it's like, bam, you're a public speaker. You just spoke to the same audience. You got yourself introduced. You told everybody what you do. You put it in context. It's like, ta-da, you're a speaker.
And side note with that is like when you ask your question, and you have a short amount of time, but do say your name and what are you doing or what's your work, what's your job, so that because that's marketing in disguise. Quite often, people who ask questions, if your question is really enticing, people afterwards will come back to you and ask you. They're going, "That was a really good question, right? And now I want to meet you." And so, yeah, that's a great.
it's kind of my problem. I don't really have a job now, so but
Yeah. But
Make your own.
limbo.
The other
That's
one,
how I started my companies.
when
It
you're a
was
teacher, though,
2008, and there was no jobs.
Former teacher, now I'll think of a good title.
I think when you're a teacher, though, and you're teaching other teachers, right, it doesn't feel like teaching or speaking, but it is.
I don't want to go back into teaching now. That's the thing. So
Well, yeah.
anyway,
Donna
my
does that.
problems.
She doesn't get paid to speak, but she did have to give a really important presentation this week. So there's all that internal speaking to your company too. That's just as, if not more important, because you're trying to influence your coworkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, just tell them how to do things.
Oh my goodness. Thanks so much to our panel here. Bobbie, do you want to do anything to wrap up today?
Just, inviting everybody to check out Innovation Women. We've got a ton of free resources, and definitely always looking for more speakers and more event managers to use the platform. This is Innovation Women is what people call a two-sided marketplace. So I need event managers with speaking opportunities for our speakers, and I need speakers to fulfill those opportunities.
The link's in the post that if you're watching this live stream, and check it out. As if you're a meeting professional and you need women speakers, right? This is a genius, brand new resources here that you should look at to pick up some new. As a meeting organizer, you should be trying to bring new speakers to your industry, and I can tell you that Bobbie has a great way, easy tool for you to figure out who those people are. And of course, if you are a speaker, it's really reasonable too. I'll vouch for Bobbie, and here it's $99 a year, and you get one speaking gig from this thing, and I think it'll pay for itself. So I'm very impressed with you have a lot more conferences than I had access to speak at, and I'm actually applying right now. So I hope, like I said, in a week or two, that I'll be able to tell you that I actually got one of these. So
That's fantastic. And Innovation Women is a two-way street. You can apply for speaking opportunities, and the event managers can also invite you.
Ooh.
So we try to make it as easy as possible. It's, really just kind of using all the knowledge that I've accumulated in 37 years of placing executives. And by the way, I always feel a little bit like I have to make up for or atone for my previous life. I was working for more than 20 years with high tech companies, and
yeah,
I think for probably the first 20 years, I never placed a female speaker. I didn't have that to work with. All the executives were men.
Well, you have a final story. You're making a difference, and I think you shared one or two with me. But to close today, can you share though, how you help somebody? Like you took a speaker maybe who was struggling and found them something. What's the final story that you can share to let women speakers out there know, right? Stuff can happen.
It's funny. One of the regulars on the Speaker Friends group, Janine, one day reached out to me on LinkedIn, and she's like, I can't get into my account on Innovation Women. And I kind of looked it up and went, oh, it's your credit card expired. You just need to put in a new card. She's like, thank God. And I was like, gee, Janine, it's all right. We'll help you get in. She's like, you don't understand. She's like, I've gotten 2 or 3 5-figure speaking engagements this year, and they came from Innovation Women. And I was like, what? So she was a former teacher, and she decided that she was going to be an author and a speaker, and she was building her speaking business.
Mm-hmm.
And she speaks about intercultural creativity.
Mm-hmm.
She was just doing some absolutely amazing work, and she was building a career and building a business off this. And I was like,
Wow.
woman, mad respect. Absolutely.
Mad respect.
So-
All right, all you women that are out there, right? And like I said, allies too. If you want to help solve
Absolutely.
this problem, you have that opportunity. I know I've gotten to organize some conferences as a volunteer or as a association leader. Make a choice and get some amazing people, right?
And Innovation Women is the home of more than 2,000 really awesome female speakers and a handful of really secure guys. And also some non-binary folks too. So anybody's welcome. What kind of diversity, equity, inclusion platform would I be running if we didn't welcome everybody?
And I can tell you, I'm hopefully one of the secure guys that are on there, and I have a couple other of my friends who we met. Robbie's on there, a few others, which is fantastic. So, Bobbie, thank you so much for sharing your work
me.
here. And again, I hope that I've done something to help elevate that work and solve one more stage of this challenge or problem, so that we can see more women and, of course, more diversity on stage. Thanks, Bobbie.
Super nice to meet y'all.
Excellent. All right. Well, good. I'm John Chen, and geez, get more women to speak. And of course, we're actually on this plate too. You can join API Event Profs, and we're trying to get more Asian Pacific Islanders to speak too. That's actually some other piece that we're having here too. Look at the resources. Check it out. There's a whole bunch of free stuff. Let me make sure I got it. Yes, innovationwomen.com. It's in the link. And have a happy weekend. We will see you next time.
Don't we start people and keep old people? Show you got heart.